Hello everyone, Steamtronics Productions here. Welcome back to the Steamtronics channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing a little request video because you see, at MJmessen 2025, someone visited us at the S.E.S.R stand who travelled all the way across the country from Oslo to Bergen for the show. He told me he had just become an owner of one of Silver Lady's little sisters, fresh out of Doncaster. He mentioned that Silver Lady's whistle sounded slightly odd due to the steam leak in the silicon, and asked me for advice on fitting the DJB Resonator whistle for his Silver Lady. I gave him a few tips and tricks, and I said that I'd make a video on it, so here we are. I do apologise, however, that it's taken about 3 months to get this video out. We've been quite busy on the S.E.S.R, as you know if you've been on the channel for a while now. So today, I'll be demonstrating exactly how to fit the whistle. But first, for a little bit of background info, my knowledge of this goes back to around March 2020, when I first bought Silver Lady's whistle. And as you can see, I tested it on air. Yeah, as you might know, a human doesn't have that much PSI, so it wasn't as strong as with steam, but, you know, I wanted to test it for myself. So I guess this is a Steamtronics whistle. I don't know. Following day, I put Silver Lady up on the works table, ready to strip the whistle off. I wasn't alone, however, because I was on Google Meet with some of my classmates, because this was during the pandemic of 2020. Before you ask, no, the teachers did not give a single fuck. Little did they know the chaos I'd cause later that year with Silver Lady's new hooter. Once the old whistle was removed, it went into storage, along with Sterling's old gas pipe and a few other parts. Don't worry, the parts can still be seen to this day in the movie The Deckfield Disaster in the scrapyard scene. That evening, I brought Silver Lady inside and worked on her in the dining room table. I wouldn't recommend doing this at home, because you might get oil everywhere. Believe me, I know. And it's especially not a good idea if you've got a family. You'd get very unpopular very fast. Now, before we go on, I just want to say the tools required for this job. You will need a 2 BA spanner, a 4 BA spanner, an 8 BA spanner, and various drills and screwdrivers. But in this video, we used a Dremel, which can be used for drilling and cutting. We also use pliers so we can cut off the silicon when needed. And we also use zip ties as well to fasten the silicon piping to the brass. The operating valve uses the original banjo bolt to hold the new valve and the pressure gauge connection. The first thing I did was drill a hole through the cab to feed the whistle through. The whistle needs 2 holes, one for the steam pipe and one to secure the resonator inside the cab. Sometimes the resonator will spit water, but that's completely normal. Next, I unscrewed the top of the turret and fitted the new whistle in place. I then ran a silicone tube from the valve to the whistle itself. Once everything was assembled, bolts tightened, and I made sure that no steam leaks could happen using the zip ties, we were ready. Once the resonator whistle is fitted, it's ready for a steam up. Fill the gas tanks with gas and bring the boiler around halfway on the gauge with water, enough to cover the boiler tubes. This helps to prevent the whistle from spitting water, otherwise known as priming. When the boiler reaches blow-off pressure, try blowing the whistle, and if it sounds like this, she's ready. However, just be careful, the whistle chain does get hot, so adding a small chain isn't a bad idea. But what might be a bad idea is adding a servo to the whistle, because contrary to what some exhibitors believe, you do not need a servo to operate this whistle. The only reason to really use a servo is to show off. It makes the cab messier. I've seen cabs that look dreadful when they have a servo for the whistle. It even requires removing the tanks in the cab, which most owners won't appreciate, especially those of us who are very protective of our engines. If the whistle rings out loudly and there's a clean, consistent tone, you're good to go. So if all that went well, your engine is now ready for many years of service. Big shout out to DJB Engineering for being incredibly helpful during the ordering process, and a big thank you to Silver Lady's little sister's owner, who visited us at the S.E.S.R at MJmessen. To close off this video, I'd like to show you guys a little compilation of Silver Lady running with her whistle. You guys might well have seen her at the Bergen Railway Show or at the workshop where Levon was built. She has visited there once or twice. So yes, guys, enjoy the compilation. I do hope that this video has been informative and helpful. And yeah, massive thank you to everyone for watching, and this is Steamtronics Productions signing off.